Good day, folks, and thanks for checking into the channel. As the video title states, this video is not really about, how I go about constructing this, which is pretty straightforward if you look at it. It's more about the dimensions I use to make the cuts. Because I noticed when I watched my first barrel chair video, I showed myself rather pressure washing it, painting it, putting on the logos, it kind of went right to town on that one. One thing I did forget in making that video was the dimensions I used. Like, how wide did I make this, how high this goes up, etc. But basically that first chair was my first chair I've ever built, so this one probably going to be a short video. I'm just going to give you a brief layout on the measurements I use to get these cuts here and how I reference them from the left to the right. So what I did is that I came down here. There's a seam in the barrel. Usually there's always a seam, and I always put it in the front instead of having this big seam in the back. I'd rather have it just kind of short in the front here. So what I did is I measured up from the bottom up. Of course, before I get into that, I cut off the top, just maybe about an inch, and I cut that top off. So from the bottom here, I went up 17 inches, and then I drew a line, made a line across, and then from the center on both sides, I went 13, so a total of 26, 13 on both sides, which is pretty straightforward. And then when I came to this area here, you're kind of wondering how I got these curves. I'll explain that in a minute. Once you get your line down here, I went up 6 inches. And then I did the same thing on the other side. And for this little part here going backwards, I went back 9 inches and made another line and just drew it straight up here, and that's it. So when forget about these curves. When you're looking at this laid out, you'll see points. There won't be no curves, and you're going to ask, how did you get those radiuses? So what I used is this thing right here, the cover of a Folgers coffee can. And it's very simple, actually. When you get your marks laid out here, you just put your can up there, touch both lines, and you get your radius, which it kind of makes it consistent all the way around. Even on the top here, I use it up there. But anyway, folks, that's it. This chair here is pretty well done. All I have to do now is holster that seat there, and I have the leather for it. So yeah, there you go, another chair for the patio. I think it looks pretty good. Like I said, it's just for my own personal use and something to use those barrels for. Anyway, folks, that's it. Like I said, pretty short video. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe, make a comment, and until next time, peace.